I need y'all to really pay attention, yeah. I need y'all to listen to the vision, yeah. Real rap, brand new image, listen. I don't need the jury and evictions, no. Mama always told me I was gifted. Pops too, even though we know this from a distance, listen. Ever since a youngin' I was lifted. Gray hairs, granny always told me that was wisdom, whoa.
Peace, peace, peace. This is your brother Isaiah Muhammad, also known as Prince of Peace 5. And we are here live on the Mind portion of the Mind and Soul podcast. As you can see, we got here a very, very, very special guest. My brother, my friend. For those that don't know or just bought a house living under a rock somewhere, I'm allowing him to introduce himself at this time.
And we would definitely advise that you get from up under that rock. No, let me stop playing. My name is brother Goalden Chyld. Kadir Hakeem is my actual name, but I'm also known as Goalden Chyld from Chicago, Illinois. I'm out here in Baltimore. I've been rapping since I was at the age of 8 years old. My father put me on. He was in backstage with Jay-Z and DMX. He gave me some literature. He gave me a poem to spit, and from that point, I just been doing music ever since. So I don't like to label myself as a conscious artist because I feel like it's a stigma that come with that, but I definitely make music that speaks to our condition, our struggle, stuff that we can relate to, because we all going through things as human beings. So
yes, sir.
You see, you know.
I appreciate it. Now, the name Goalden Chyld, it's not spelled traditionally, like
right.
gold, the G-O-L-D.
Right.
It's spelled differently. Can you explain that?
So it's GoaldenChyld. So as opposed to the traditional way, it's a goal, goal driven. I think I came up with the name when I was about 14 or 15, and I didn't just want it to be the traditional Goalden Chyld. So trying to be creative, so I said Goal, goal driven, aspirations, going after whatever it is, you want to accomplish in life.
Gotcha.
That's what that stands for.
Okay, now look, we live in America,
Come
right?
on now, talk to me.
Every black person either play basketball or rap.
Come on,
right?
Now. Some way, form, or fashion.
Some way, form, or fashion. So I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you bring to the table as far as your skill set and your lyricism that separates you from others? Because everybody doing it.
That's real. So I believe personally what I bring to the table, I would say, sometimes when you either doing conscious music or you're doing music, that's degrading our community, or you're just doing music, that speaks to just how you feel, emotional type of music. But I believe what I bring to the table that's different is my music could be considered conscious, but it's not too preachy. I feel like when a lot of us go into the conscious lane, we're telling people what to do, telling people how to live their lives, how they need to change. If they don't change, they either going to hell or they're gonna live a life full of, trials, tribulations, and turmoil. But I learned that when you tell people what to do and tell people how to live their lives, sometimes you get a little resentment. So when you listen to the mainstream artists, people that are making music that is degrading our community, a lot of them, they're not telling you gotta sell drugs, you gotta disrespect women, you gotta do this, that, and the third. They a lot of times they say this is the life that they live, this is what they do. But the way that the industry is set up, it's a facade that's painted that, if you live this life and if you do these things, you can get money, cars, clothes, riches, and you live this fabulous lifestyle. But in reality, behind the scenes, a lot of them, are hurting, they're struggling, they're going through it. So I said, if I could find a way, to talk about my lifestyle and tell people the life I live and make it attractive, make it something that people say, what, man, I can see myself a part of that. I believe I can reach more people and tap in, to the minds of more people. So differently, I believe I'm just not telling people what to do. I'm telling people this is the life I live. As a result of making these decisions, you got the potential, to benefit from a peaceful lifestyle. So yeah,
I like that. Now I appreciate that. I like how you say, not too preachy.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
You're just keeping it real,
Definitely.
Keeping it 100. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. So as far as coming up, you say your father, he was. For those that don't know, we're gonna play the clip on whose brother's father is, but he was in the movie Backstage. I went in a cipher with DMX and Jay-Z.
OG got hold of us, cause if it wasn't for that man, then he don't controlling us. His body lay in red rum, twisted and broken poses, blood puddles soaking his clothing, look like roses, smelling Moses, and Moses couldn't save him. We leaving the way we came. Assalamu alaikum.
So anytime people ask about, can brothers from the nation rap, I pull up on YouTube, I pull his father up, so shout out. That's my brother right there, man. Allah continue to bless you.
I see my king.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So look, coming up, who were some MCs and rappers that you looked up to, that inspired you?
Coming up, honestly, In my household, of course, you know, when I was around my father, you know, he played hip hop, you know, Tupac, Rakim, KRS-One, and, you know, certain artists from, you know, from his era. But honestly, to be 100% honest, my mother is the one who was playing the Aretha Franklins, you know, the Anita Bakers, you know, the Whitney Houstons and things of that sort. So I grew up in a household that was primarily, you know, R&B, soul, gospel, you understand me? So that's what I listen to the most. And I can sing, you know, but I just haven't really tapped into the singing part yet. You know, I haven't put any projects out, but I was primarily influenced by singers more so than rappers. And I believe that's what helped me with my flow. I believe that's what helped me with my melodies. So I never really had a favorite with rap because that's not what I listened to primarily. But I always gravitated to artists who had melodies in their music more so than artists that just rap straightforward. Not to say that, you know, I didn't benefit from artists who just rap, but, you know, I never had a favorite, but artists who had melodies. And today I'm at a point where, like I said, I don't have a favorite, but I listen to everything, you know? But some people would say, man, you in the nation, you know, you make music that's quote unquote conscious. You listen to so-and-so. And my thing is, how can you help a people or look out for people or uplift the people if you don't know what it is that they're going through, don't know what it is that they relate to and connect with? So I'm listening to a variety of artists, and I believe that's another thing that sets me apart because my mind isn't fixed on one sound. I got a variety of sounds that I'm able to benefit from.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's a line, I can't remember who said it, but I always use it. It say, it take a certain type of man to teach, to be far from the hood but understand the streets. You know what I mean?
Hey, you got bars like that?
A little something. A little something.
Talk to me.
We may show something a little later.
Something.
You know what I mean? So look, in 2006, right? Nas put out an album called Hip Hop Is Dead. After he put out this album, he got a lot of backlash for putting that album out, naming it that, and having that statement, right? What do you think about that statement, that hip hop is dead?
Hip hop is dead. I believe what he was speaking to is the origin of hip hop and what it represented originally. You know, how when hip hop was started, it was pretty much created to uplift, motivate, and inspire our community. So the term in itself, hip hop is dead, I believe he was speaking to how the hip hop industry or hip hop, and as it relates to what it is we created originally, was taken over, you know, and turned into something that degraded and devalued our communities. So if you look at music today, and if you look at the music that was ushered in, you know, to kind of wipe out the positive music, I could relate and connect with, you know, the term hip hop is dead, in the essence of what it means. However, you always got, you know, the young brothers and sisters, you know, in the cracks, you know, in the annals, in the community, you know, that are always speaking truth to power and standing on what hip hop, you know, represented in its essence. So if you're talking about it being completely, for something to be dead, that means that there's no life in it whatsoever, you know. So I can understand another argument saying that, you know, it's not dead because you got an artist like me, or you got an artist like so-and-so, or you still got people, you know, in the underground. So when you talk about the meaning of the word dead, no, it's not dead because you got people who are still holding on to the original meaning, the original essence. That, you know, as time goes on, you know, the truth will prevail. So it is and it ain't. In a sense, you know, it's like, But if I had to pick a side, I would say hip hop is definitely not dead. You know, I understand both sides, but no, it's not dead. And I believe it's getting ready to be brought back to life, you know, in its fullness with everything that's going on in our community. You know, the lives lost, us killing each other, police killing each other, the conditions of our communities. I believe we're getting to a point where we need something, you know, to give us that boost, that pump, you know, to encourage us, you know, to clean up our communities.
So you're saying the essence of it is not what it used to be, but basically with everything that's going on, you feel like it's being resurrected, it's gonna come back, come back full circle.
It's on its way back right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, no, I agree. So Jay-Z had a line, right, on his album, Black Album.
Okay.
Jay-Z said, if truth be told, I probably lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I wanted to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 million. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. When your sense got that much in common and you've been hustling since, your inception, perception go with what makes sense. Basically he's saying, look, I could have been lyrical like these dudes, Talib Kweli and Common Sense, but I sold 5 million records. And I think you're talking about that album, Hard Knock Life. You know, that was one of the most commercially successful albums at the time. I sold 5 mil making songs like that, you know, that everybody wanted to hear, not the lyrical stuff. So, you know, do you feel anytime you gotta dumb down your lyrics or, you know, fit in a certain box to make people listen to it so you can be more successful?
I could get on here right now and pretend and say no. But I believe this is definitely a conversation that needs to be had. So we taught to put, you know, the medicine in the dog food, you know, pretty much speaking to, you don't just get, I mean, you can't force a steak down the baby's throat. You understand what I'm saying? You can't give them everything at once. So I'm at a point in my career where I understand the importance of uplifting, you know, the community. I understand the importance of putting vital messages in my music. However, we're dealing with people that have been destroyed mentally, physically, and spiritually. And no matter how, you know, deep or powerful your message is, sometimes you speak into a wall, you know, when you're communicating with the people that can't necessarily grasp it or just aren't there mentally, physically, and spiritually. Right now, I'm learning, you know, as a result of being in the community and communicating with people, that some of the first steps when you're talking about building a relationship is getting to know what an individual is going through, what it is that they feel and what they're dealing with in their household. So I'm at a point where I'm making music now that speaks to our condition as it relates to what it is we deal with on an everyday basis. You understand what I'm saying? And then once you get to the point where they feel like you care, once you understand, once you know what it is that they're going through, then you build that relationship where you can walk them over to a deeper level, you know, a deeper side, where you can go into, you know, how we got here, how did all of this start, and then, you know, it's like, oh damn, but the first step is building that relationship. So I'm looking at the records today, and some of the biggest records and some of the records, you know, that are charting, and you could say, oh man, you know, you got rich white executives who are putting money behind it. But some of these records are charting organically because it's an artist that's speaking to what it is that's really going on in the community, what people are really experiencing, what people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So my thing right now is creating that balance. I feel like the only challenge with the music today is, one of the challenges with certain music today is, I would say that we speak to the problem, but we don't speak to the solution, you know? So it's one thing to say what you're dealing with, but then at the end or somewhere in the song, you could tell people like, damn, you know, how I overcame, how this is not the life that I'm looking to live, you know? But you can't get mad at the young brothers because it's like, damn, sometimes they don't got that avenue or that, you know, that space, you know, to talk about how they overcame because they dealing with it, you know? So, yeah.
Okay. All right, for sure. So look, not only you an MC, not only you a lyricist, not only you a rapper, artist, whatever you want to call it, but you are also a card-carrying member of the mighty nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
Under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir, indeed.
And we know the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been one of the most controversial figures ever in history. You know, they took him off Instagram, they took him off Twitter, they took him off Facebook, but only for telling the truth. They call him an anti-Semite, they call him a homophobe, they call him all of these things that he's not, right?
Yes,
but they took him off of Instagram for that. With you being a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Instagram just giving you a verified badge, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you think that you following the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and being a member of the Nation of Islam will hurt your career as far as long-term in music, or you think it'll help it? Honestly.
Well, I mean, that's relative. I mean, it depends on what I look at as success. It depends on, you know, what I say, what I feel like would hurt me or not. So, I mean, what God has for me, nobody can take away from it. So I'm at a point where it's like, I'm really a rebel. Like when my first project was like, you know, to hell, you know, with these demons, to hell with the devils, you know, to hell with the people that are in the industry that are, you know, that have made a conscious decision that they're gonna do all that they can, you know, to destroy and devalue our communities. To hell with them all. So I'm at a point where it's like, I know, you know, like I know for sure that, you know, with the path that I've decided to take, that I'm gonna face some opposition. I know for sure, you know, it's gonna be people that don't agree with what it is that I stand for and what it is that I represent. I know for sure with how it is that they do in our black celebrities and white people as well that stand on the side of the minister, that with me being on his side, you know, they're gonna do all that they can to destroy what it is that I'm trying to bring to the table. But it's like, I mean, I didn't expect it to be easy. So it's like, you know, let's get it. You understand me? I mean, there's opposition. So it's like, I got to put together a strategy if I'm gonna get to the point where it's like, you know, they want to give us hell, let's get them hell, you know? So I'm good, man. I know for sure it's not gonna be no cakewalk. I know it's not gonna be easy, but we living in a point where we literally watching a world fall right before our eyes. Right. So I feel like to be on this side, if anything, right now is one of the greatest decisions, because it's almost like, having a up in stocks, and for sure that, in a few years, that if you invest in this stock, you got an immediate, $40 million return. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And looking at how the world falls, and I know that, being on the side of the minister and being on the side of God, my time, my energy is invested in the right thing. So it is what it is, man. Let's get this work. Let's continue, to stand on principle, and they can keep on trying to come at the chief. He got a warrior in me, and he got other warriors. Come on now.
And they know that.
For sure.
And they know it's an army you see, an army you don't see. You know what I mean? So we're not backing down
at all.
I just had to put that out there. I formed a question like that so you can respond like that. No, I appreciate that.
Let's get this
Appreciate that for sure. So I saw you had shirts, bumper stickers. I don't know. You got mugs. What else you got that you selling?
Man,
but on it, right? It says this ain't back in the day.
Right.
This ain't back in the day. Right. Explain that, and also explain the shirt that you got on now, because clothing is a form of expression, right? You can tell a lot about a person by what they wear, right? But when you have a title, a picture, or words on your shirt, that also expresses something about you as well. So please explain both of those, the shirt you got on right now and the other one.
So this ain't back in the day was from a song that's on my latest project, Subliminal. It's on a song I said,
this ain't back in the day, like you know. Granny used to see you act like she done seen a ghost. No, we not buddies, they just business, I just need a quote. I'm good on that. They can't run the game and call the shots when we the ghosts.
But yeah, this ain't back in the day, so some people had a misunderstanding, because you got some people who have said we are not our ancestors, and some people have misunderstood the whole term around this ain't back in the day, because they think it's a shot at our ancestors.
Right.
But the reality is our ancestors didn't struggle, sacrifice, bleed, die, and lose their lives, put their lives on the line so that we could continue to do that today. Right. So this ain't back in the day, just speaking to the fact that they sacrificed, they put their lives on the line, but we are the ones that they fought for, We are the ones who are in a different predicament, whereas if they would have fought, and if they, would have spoke up, or if they would have rebelled, a lot of times they lost their lives. But they fought so that we could have the opportunity to fight back, stand up, speak truth to power without the overbearing fear of us losing our lives on sight. So that's one term. Another meaning behind this ain't back in the day is anything that, negatively contributed, to the degradation of our community. This ain't back in the day. We're not tolerating that no more. Like, then, we put up with it, we tolerate it, we let a lot of stuff pass. But today, it's not back in the day. We done with that today. So, and then, the common meaning of, you talk crazy, you talk out the side of your neck, you get dealt with. This ain't back in the day, because our ancestors fought so that, we could deal with you appropriately.
For sure.
So yeah, that's one of the terms. I'm a God out the hood from the same song. I'm a God out the hood, I came up, I'm elevated. So a lot of the times, the reality is they had a destination for us, either dead or in jail, as black men and women. They guaranteed our demise with the way that, the systems were set up. So for us to become successful, for us to make money, for us to be able to be involved in real estate, for us to raise prosperous families, like I'm a God out the hood speaks to the fact that I'm a God. So regardless of the limitations that you put on me, as a black man, you can't put no limits on a God. So yeah, we out here. I come from the trenches. I come from the hood. I come from a predicament where they guarantee you that I was being dead or in jail. But again, I'm a God, a child of the Most High God. So yeah, we overcome and meet all obstacles that are on our path. So yeah, that's what this means. We wasn't supposed to be where we at today, but we here because we guys at the end of the day. God's children, can't put no limits on us.
Come on, man. So I believe about 3 years ago, right?
Right.
You had a song and a video that went viral called Open Enemies.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the lyrics in the song was,
I don't know how much more you need to see to recognize that they're your enemies, but I hope by now you got it.
Right.
So
let's say I rebuttal that.
Okay.
Look, I hear you talking about they're our enemy, right? The white supremacist power structure. I hear all that, but what about us robbing each other? What about us killing each other? What about us hurting and doing all of these negative things to each other? What about the enemies that we have become to ourselves? You know?
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody rebuttaling that, saying before we can focus on any other enemy on the outside, we got to look at the enemy on the inside?
I wouldn't necessarily look at it, you know, as a rebuttal, because I agree. You understand me? I agree on that end. I think sometimes we get frustrated as a community because our current agenda is focusing on the enemy that's attacking us from the outside. And when other people say, what about us? Sometimes it look as if they off cold, you know, and they're creating another argument, you know, to kind of, you know, discredit the fact that we focus on the ones that's killing us from the outside, police and things of that sort. But the reality is, that's a conversation that we definitely need to have in-house. And the challenge is we fight a war on two fronts, you know. You know, as we talk, we fighting a war on two fronts. So we fighting, you know, our open enemy, you know, our 400-year plus open enemy, and we fighting with the effects that being under his tutelage, you know, has created in our community. So it's challenging because we saying stop killing us, but we murdering ourselves and our community.
Right.
We telling you to stop, you know, treating us a certain way, but we abuse each other in our communities. We say provide equal opportunities for us, but when we get an opportunity in our community, we hoard it and keep it to ourselves and, you know, don't look out for each other. So I believe it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had on both ends. The challenge just becomes the fact that you literally fighting two wars at the same time. You understand what I mean? It's almost like, God damn it, you know, you one man and, you know, you trying to, you know, fight 2 and 3 people at the same time. You know, you got to be really skilled and really strategic and really smart to be able to overcome and become the victor in a situation like that. But it's true. I believe that when we start to improve our communities, when we start to love each other more, when we start to deal and face head on the effects of slavery and, you know, self-hate, then I believe it'll be easier for us to fight the other war, you know, with our enemies on the outside of our community. Because if we really loved each other and really valued each other, we wouldn't be able to hold a cell phone and watch our brother die right before our eyes.
Straight up.
If we really loved and valued each other, we wouldn't be able to record, you know, while our sister is being murdered right before our eyes. If we really loved each other, you know, when a brother pull out a gun to take the life of his brother because we love each other so much, you know, we would jump in between the gangs and the guns and things of that sort. So I believe when we get things together in-house while at the same token try to tackle things, you know, that are taking place from our open enemy, it'll make it easier for us to fight that other war on the outside. Because our unity, as we talk about Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is stronger than an atomic bomb. So when we come together and we get on the same page and we hold each other accountable and we make sure that our women are valued, loved, and protected, then, you know, going to fight that other war will be easier because it won't be individuals. We won't be scattered. We won't be disorganized. You know, our ranks won't be able to be broken. It'll be a point where it's like, damn, we all on the same page. So I mean, you know, you want smoke with one of us, you want smoke with all of us. And it's like, so yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, you know, the conversation of, yeah, we are killing each other. They are killing us. I feel like some of the first steps we need to take is improving our communities in-house. And then it'll be easier for us to fight this war, you know, that we've been trying to fight, you know, so disorganized on two fronts.
On two fronts, okay. I heard, you know, one thing I thought about when you said that, right? You know, the condition that we in, right? You can't blame the clay and not blame the pot. We look at the condition that we in and we see we didn't put ourselves in this condition.
That's real.
You know what I mean? We didn't bring the drugs in the hood. We didn't bring the guns in the hood. But I noticed, you know, in our culture, in our community, it's something new. They say it's no cat, right?
Yeah, no cat.
No cat mean, you know, it's real. But if it's not real, it's you capping, right? In Baltimore, we say, yo, phony. That's what we say in Baltimore. Yo, phony. Be capping, yo, phony, right? Now, a lot of times, young brothers that have celebrities that they look up to, they'll call him real, or they say, you know what I mean? Only if he comes back to the neighborhood that he came from, right? They say, oh yeah, he a real one because he came back. I noticed a couple weeks ago, y'all was in O-Block, and I want you to explain that for those that don't know where that is or what the significance of that is. But I saw y'all were in O-Block, and I saw when I think was it Chicago Media Takeout? Or was it Chicago Media Takeout posted it. And you know, some of the comments were positive, but it was a lot of negative comments saying that it's not going to change nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That y'all just out there, you know, y'all not going to change nothing. What would your response be to them? I know a lot of times we get frustrated when people say things and we sitting there, you know, typing back. So this is your chance to finally say what you want to say, you know, to them verbally.
So it's like, honestly, when I look through the comments, there were negative comments, but it's something about negative comments. Sometimes a negative comment can, goddamn it, overshadow 20 positive comments. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you can go through the comments, it can be 10,000 positive comments, man, and about 15 negative comments, but the focus is on the negative comments because that's what hurt us the most.
That's true.
But I gotta tackle this before I go into how I will respond. There are Asian provocateurs and there are bots and there are people who set up fake accounts just to discredit the positivity that's taking place in our community.
I agree.
Because they know that when we see a post, the way our minds are set up is before we can make a decision on our own as it relates to how we feel about it, we go into the comments and allow the comments to dictate how we feel about something we could have made a decision about on our own. So it's like we got to be careful, you know, as to what we give attention and what we highlight, because it can kind of deter us and distract us, you know, from the fact that we really trying to make stuff happen in our community for the better. But what I will say is, because I don't believe that whether the comment is from a bot or a fake person, that is not the opinion of some people in our community.
Right.
So that's not going to change nothing. That's not going to work. This ain't no good. As a result, when you look at our community, we have been fighting for change for years upon years. You understand me? We have made sustainable progress in our communities that because we made so much progress, white people were so jealous that they destroyed what it was we were able to establish.
Think about that.
But when you destroy what it is we create, then wipe history clean and repaint it or retell it the way that you want it to be told, then the perception is in our community that, damn, we lazy, we ain't never did nothing, this ain't never gonna change, we've been doing this forever. But you don't know about, you know, the Tulsa, Oklahomans and the communities that were established right out of slavery.
Right.
You know, with people that couldn't read, that couldn't write. It gives the perception that we never tried to do anything to improve our communities. It gives the perception that we just lazy people.
Right.
When in reality, we are some of the hardest working people on the planet. We built the country, and if it wasn't for us, America would not look the way that it looked today.
That's a fact.
But the challenge becomes, like I said, when history was wiped clean, and you have no account of what it is that we did in the past, then it's like, damn, you know, we start to look at each other as if like, damn, bro, like, okay, you got these people talking, you got the people giving lectures, you got the people coming into the communities with pamphlets and handing things out. But when is change gonna take place? When is change gonna come? But what we haven't considered is when you see a whole community bombed, when you see a whole community destroyed, when you see the lives of your loved ones taken because they wanted better for themselves, there's a certain level of fear that comes with that. So that when somebody tries again to build something up and establish something to ensure better futures for our community, then it's like, you sure you want to do that? You saw what they did to King.
Exactly.
You saw what they did to Malcolm. You saw what they did to so-and-so. So that kind of stifles our community a little bit. But what I would say to the people that says, you know what, it's not possible, that's not going to change nothing, I would say I understand why you feel the way that you feel. You know, based off the fact that there have been a lot of people, you know, as a result of self-hate, as a result of greed, as a result of envy and jealousy, that have come into the community and have taken advantage of our community. That's the truth. Because we don't trust each other, because we don't love each other. There have been people that come into the community that pretend like they for the community, come, then leave and have nothing to show for their time being spent in the community. It's people that have robbed the community, people that our people put faith in and trust in that came and left, you know, and took advantage of the community. So as a result of being lied to, you know, taken advantage of, used and abused, at a certain point you say, man, I done seen enough of this goddamn talking. I done seen enough of this preaching. I done seen enough of these, you know, goddamn niggas walking and strolling through the community talking about they gonna do this, they gonna do that. But when is shit gonna change, right? That's how you feel. Plus you don't know what it is that we did before. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you start to feel like it's everything that you see taking place in the community, positive or not, is pointless, right?
I got you.
But those of us who have good intentions, those of us who have positive motives and a real agenda as it relates to what it is we want to do to the community, we can't let the hurt of our people deter us. Because really that's all that is.
Right.
That's hurt. They done lost faith as a result of what they done seen take place in the community. But we can't let that take us off course. I hear this all the time. The devil is working overtime, right? He working overtime, day and night. He not getting no sleep to ensure that our community look the way that they look. So we gotta go hard.
We gotta go harder than that.
We gotta go harder than the devil. But sometimes we sleeping, we resting, we relaxing. It's gonna be all right. We shall overcome. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't really get nowhere. But we gotta, put 10 toes down and go as hard as he going, and even harder, to ensure that our communities are a better place to live. But we taught to not even be emotional. That's the biggest thing if you're gonna call yourself a leader in this community. Because your people will slander you, they'll talk down on you, they'll stab you in the back, they'll trade on you, because we was taught to be this way. But if you really say that you want better for this community, man, what it's gonna take is a determination, focus, and for you to bite down and say, I'm gonna get this done, regardless of who with me or not. So
for sure,
we're gonna be all right.
When you say that, I think of something. If I had a bottle, right, and it had fleas in it, and I put a top on the bottle, the flea's gonna keep hitting the top. So even if I remove the top, they still not gonna go past that, because they never went past it the whole time they've been in there. A lot of times our people, they'll hear people talk about we can do better, or we shall overcome, or if we do this, we can be better in our community. But if they never seen it, they don't think it can happen.
That's real.
So they got a preconceived idea that, man, we ain't never gonna be better than what we are.
That's real.
We're gonna remain in this condition. And a lot of times what people do is they'll put their negativity or disappointment on you when you're trying to do something, and they want you to be disappointed. They want you to have negative thoughts. You know what I mean? So I just want to commend you for all the work that you do behind the mic, in the field, and out there striving to resurrect our people.
Yes,
because it's a war on two fronts. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once said that one song is powerful than more powerful than 1,000 lectures.
That's real.
That's powerful. Because
real.
I can sit there and listen to a lecture, right? But when I go and get in the car, I'm gonna hear that song playing over and over again. We arithmetic people,
Actually,
right?
facts,
So we feel it more while we in the car instead of somebody just talking to us. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, brother, but I just need you to do two things for me before you go, right? First thing I need you to do is I need you to let the listeners know where they can find you at, where they can contact you at, and hear your music, right? Then the second thing, it would be a disgrace to the Mind and Soul podcast if you did not come on here and let the people know what you do. They say you rap, you say you an MC, you say you a lyricist, but you gotta show that.
That's real.
You know what I mean? So let the people know where they
display.
can contact you at, where they can hear the music, and then let us hear something.
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at GOALDEN_CHYLD. On Facebook, it's no underscore. On Instagram and Twitter, again, it's GOALDEN_CHYLD. And any other information is on those pages as it relates to reaching out for features and bookings and stuff like that. So that's where you can find me. They can find my music on all streaming platforms. Again, just type in GOALDENCHYLD, Spotify, Twitter, Tidal. These are, all of the streaming platforms. You can get my music there. My website is, though, this is important, officialgc.com, www.officialgc.com. That's where you can get the I'm a God Out the Hood shirts. That's where you can get the This Ain't Back in the Day merch and other merchandise. If you really go to officialgc.com, that's where you can find everything.
We're going to put all of that in the bio. In the description. We're going to put all of that in the description. Now, look, I don't got Spotify. I don't got in iTunes. I don't got none of this. I'm listening to you right now. I don't even, you gotta give me a reason for me to go to iTunes. You gotta give me a reason for me to go to Spotify. So, I need you to give the people the reason to go there.
That's real. I got you.
Yes, sir.
So matter of fact, man, I was thinking I was gonna do a shorter freestyle, but based on the conversation we had, I think I want to go into a song that I just released called Misunderstood. So let me clear this up real quick too. So you got the freestyles, right?
Okay.
Today's freestyles, and then you got the back in the day freestyles.
I got you.
The back in the day freestyles were off the top of the dome, but this is a modern version.
It's all good. But it came from you.
It came from me.
And for the pleasure of me, you're doing it for free.
Come on now.
So it's a freestyle because it's your style and you're doing it for free. I appreciate that, my brother. Go ahead.
I love you. I know you got some hidden bars with the way you put that together. I said, When Chicago gonna stop the violence, them little niggas wildin'. I wish people didn't speak on places that they didn't reside in. Yeah, you live in the city, but don't live in the trenches. Way before the quarantine, you was keeping your distance. We ain't never asked to live like this, but these the cards we was dealt, so shit, it is what it is. Man, they love to talk about my house, but ain't been in my crib. If you saw how I came up, you see why I did what I did. Survival of the fittest, shit is kill or be killed. He took his life cause he didn't wanna lose his life to his steel. I know some young is paranoid, can't never chill or be still. Hard to relax when the ops on your heels that want your blood spilled. Never really had a home, dad in jail, mama gone, the dad dead, and mom alone. When she at work, I'm on my own. This shit hurt, this shit painful, this ain't right, man, this shit wrong, but we don't show no emotions. Can't have them thinking that we hoes. Right. Man, we traumatized. Need to recover. We moving so fast, ain't got the time. Wouldn't even know where to start. I feel like I'm out my mind. So many dead homies. I wonder how I'm alive. Say if I make it out this bitch, I give it up to God. Right. Tell us do better, but don't show us how. They be too scared to take us with them, so they count us out. All that deep shit you talking about, don't put food in my mouth. Right. Don't care how much you know, show us who you care about. Right. I get us. I'ma ride with us. I ain't gonna judge us. I know God taking his time with us. Don't judge yourself for all this shit. This a design system. They want you to think it's all your fault, but they been lying to you. Yeah. I put the people on my back. I got the hood with me. They ain't rocking with everybody, but they good with me. I ain't the richest in my city, but my heart big. Right. Say love way more than a couple blue hundreds and fifties. They been,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keeping
us
down, Hey, look, how we supposed to win if they put us down, look, pick each other up from the ground. How we can't keep on standing around. Pick each other up or we gonna all drown,
You know.
That's that.
I ain't gonna lie to you, black man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Before you said that, right, I wasn't gonna do this, right?
Come on.
I wasn't gonna do this.
Talk to me,
but
man.
I'm gonna only do this because you here. This may be the first and last time I ever do this.
Come on now, that's an honor.
All right?
Let's get it.
Let's see what I got.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Goalden Chyld. I just hope they listen, because one of my main missions to get us out this condition. We're living with rats and roaches out of the kitchen. I'm wishing that they would change our image on the television. Dumbass reality shows. This way dead mentality grows. When carefully chose to be the people of God we need for tomorrow. For the future, steady beating the odds. But nah, go ahead and choke and smoke on blunts all you want. Roll around in that broke down hoopty trying to stunt. And your girl copping WIC checks every single month. And your brother, he in court, so the money come up short. And you can't pay the bail, so they haul him off to jail. And you thinking, oh, well, he did mess up crack sales, so that guy can go to hell. But that's insanity. This thing will make you turn your back on your family. And that's a tragedy.
Hold on, wait a minute. What's your feature price?
Check this out. For you?
Talk to me,
Come on, man. Come on. I'm retired. I appreciate you.
You did that.
I appreciate that. My God. So, that wraps it up for the Mind portion of the Mind and Soul podcast. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button. But if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you click that like and share button so you can stay updated on our upcoming videos. We just want to thank one more time my brother Goalden Chyld. Make sure y'all check out all of his merchandise. Make sure you check out everything that he's been given. And check this interview and send it out to everybody that you can. So peace.
Mind and soul, you know. You know what else is painful? Talking to young brothers just like y'all. I work in the Chicago public school system. And we sitting down and we having conversations and we building and we chopping it up and we talking, right? And y'all, they nod their heads and they listening. But then they go back outside, because one conversation may not do it all for everybody. But they go back out and they get involved in whatever it was they was involved in. And it's like, damn, Michael just got shot. So-and-so just got smoked. He dead. He gone. That shit hurt because we know he had an opportunity the same way we had an opportunity. And we don't want that for y'all. But I know some people in Chicago that ain't never been downtown. Listen, they in the same city, ain't never been downtown. I know certain people in certain neighborhoods that ain't, listen, it's a war right now between 64th and 63rd. That's a block away from each other, right? And there's certain brothers that scared to walk a block because they may potentially lose their life. They ain't never been around. So, what I'm saying is you don't even know how similar your situation is to your enemies or your ops. If you really was able to sit down and recognize that your brother really not your enemy. It's somebody that got money, they got power, they got influence. That made sure that you in the trenches, so afraid to move around that you won't even go to the other side to find out, damn, this shit is exactly like how it is over there. This is the same thing. And if we was able to branch out and recognize it's the same, then we'll start to say, hold up, wait a minute. I thought we was enemies. I thought you was my rival. But it's somebody that's hiding their hand that got all the trenches looking the same all over America. You go to Chicago, you go to Baltimore, you go to Philly, you go to Compton, you want to know what's going to change? I may say on phone them, y'all may say dummy.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
That's it.
You feel me? The slang changed.
That's it.
But you like, damn, he ain't have his dad neither. He ain't have his mama neither.
Right.
His dad was an alcoholic too. His mama was strung out too. You hear what I'm saying? Damn, I mean, you gotta travel 5-10 miles to get a decent grocery store. All I see is chicken joints, you hear what I'm saying, in the trenches. You recognize that all of us the same, and then you start to say, hell no, we not enemies, we gotta find a way to work this thing out. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Way that we moving, it got them confused. They looking for hoodies, we pull up in suits. Stretch fabric, so it move like it's loose. Secret Service can't even do what we do. Eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Now take one of all, we gon' take some of you. In and out, then we gon' look at the news. Don't ask me no questions, I ain't got a clue. It ain't no talking about it. I want him dead, yeah. That'll rely, I don't care how you bring him, just give me his head.